Chloe from Chloe's Creative Cards, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create this beautiful project using our latest Christmas stamp, the Christmas trees, and we're also going to be using the die set as well with these. So if you're going for a white and silver theme this Christmas, this card's going to be absolutely perfect for you. So to start with, I've got all of my bits and pieces together. So I've got my Stamped by Chloe Christmas tree stamp mounted onto an acrylic block, and we're going to start off by stamping that out onto some white pearl card. Okay, so we're going to take our pearl card and we're going to dust it with an anti-static bag to start with. That's just going to get rid of any fingerprints, any residue that might be on the card. We're then going to take our clear embossing ink pad and we're going to ink up our stamp. So we want lots of light tapping all over the image, like so. Make sure you've got plenty of ink on there. And then we're going to place that down onto our card and press. So you want firm, even pressure all over the image. Then we're going to lift that off and we're going to cover it with the mercury glass wow embossing powder, which is one of the Stamped by Chloe exclusive colours, and you can see how that's then clung to all of the detail of the stamp. Okay, we're going to pop that back into the jar because whatever we don't need goes straight back in there, and then we're going to heat this up using our heat gun. So we're just going to chase that embossing powder. So we're going to hold the heat gun still. Then as soon as we see that powder start to melt and change, we're just going to move the heat gun over the image like so. So you can see how that powder's melting and changing, and we're just chasing that powder over the image. And this is when it really comes to life. It's like magic embossing. So you can just see that there. Okay, and then if I just tilt that a little bit, you'll be able to see the bling that we've got on there as well. Okay then, so what we're going to do is we're going to trim that out to start with, like so. Just going to give that a couple of seconds just to cool off a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to take our large tree die and we're going to place this over the top. I'm going to use a little bit of low tack tape. I can find the end. Always a challenge, isn't it? And just tape this into place. Like so. So we're going to just hold this die still. We're going to get it into the place that we want it, which I'd say is around about there. And then we're just going to tape that down. We're going to be using the Gemini die cutting machine again. So I'm going to just place my die into the sandwich and run that through. And the way that we've designed these dies is they leave a slight border around the edge of the stamped image. So what that means is you can stamp and emboss and then die cut afterwards. Okay, so then we can just take this out. You can see how we've got the tree then perfectly die cut out. Really, really easy to do. So I'm going to pop that one to one side, and then we are going to cut a couple of the smaller trees as well. So we're going to just use the sheet that you get with your Gemini is magnetic. So I'm using the junior plates and the larger machine. So you'd need to do 2 of those large trees to make this project at home. So I've just placed the smaller tree on my magnetic sheet and the little insert with the stars. You can just see that there. Okay. Then I'm going to place this over the top. Now, because the stars cut into the image, this will make sense when I stamp and emboss it in a moment. If you're using that little insert, you do really need to die cut first and then stamp and emboss afterwards, otherwise it can cause the embossing powder to lift. Okay, so then when we remove that, you can see how we've got the little tree perfectly cut out with all of the little stars in there as well, which is really, really pretty. And then we're going to cut a second tree out as well, because obviously we want something to shine through there. So we're going to take a piece of double-sided adhesive. So I've just got a double-sided adhesive sheet here. I'm going to trim that down to about the right size of my card. So just trim this into place. Place that down under here. Just really roughly trim around the edge here. This is a great way to use up any of your little scraps you might already have at home as well. So then we're going to run that through the machine again. So we're now die cutting just the small tree from some double-sided adhesive. Just going to let that run through the machine and grab it at the other side. And when we remove that, we've got our lovely tree die cut out. Okay, so I'm going to pop that one to one side as well. I'm going to get rid of all these little bits and pieces. Put my dies back on the magnetic storage as well. This is really cool what we started doing with our dies as well. We started providing them with a magnetic storage sheet. So basically you can just keep them in the packaging in that little die set like this. And what I tend to do is, I keep my stamp packaging, I chop the top off. I don't think I've got one with me actually. And then I pop the die and stamp in the same packet together, then you know that you've got them together to work with. Okay then, so we're going to take our larger trees to start with. I'm going to use our, again, our Dries Clear PVA glue. So I use this all of the time. And it also comes with the little metal tip that goes on the end. And we're just going to infill where there's some snow on the trees. Like so. So you can just scribble this in. Again, I'm not being careful at all. I'm being quite kind of rough and just chucking it on here. There's no kind of right or wrong way to do this. Then I'm going to take a little bit of glitter. So I'm using Radiant. If you wanted to, you could use Crystallina instead as well. So we can just sprinkle this over. Like so. And that's then clinging to the tree. And you can see how fabulous that then looks. So I'll put that to one side. We're going to do exactly the same with the other tree. So again, just scribbling in with your Dries Clear PVA. And you can really just kind of infill all of the detail on here. Not having to be too careful, you can just scribble over. We just want the tree to look like it's got a bit of snow on there. So we'll pop that into there. Like so. So when that dries, you'll get a little bit of the embossing shining through as well. So we'll pop that to one side. And then we're going to take our tree that we die cut the little stars out of, and we're going to stamp over the top of this. So I'm going to take my little anti-static bag to start with and just give it a little dust over. And then I've got my tree stamp. Now this is a lovely solid silhouette stamp. Now if you find it easier, you can take the die cut to the stamp, or what I find easier is just to take the stamp to the die cut. So you can kind of just hover over to line it up, and then when you're happy you can just place down and press. And you want firm even pressure all over the image again. Okay, if you wanted to, again you could take the die cut to the stamp and just give it a little press. Then we can lift that off. Then we're going to take our lovely mercury glass embossing powder again, just sprinkle that over, tap off the excess like so, and then we're going to have our lovely little embossed tree. So we're going to heat this up now, and that's going to give it a lovely metallic effect. Put that to one side, put that back into the jar, and we'll just quickly heat this up. So what we're doing is just holding the heat gun still, and then as soon as that powder starts to melt and change, we're just starting to move the heat gun over the image again. I'll just turn that round if I can pick it up. There we go. Turn that round, you can see how fabulous that then looks. Okay, now what we did is we took one and we covered it with a double-sided adhesive sheet that we die cut out previously. So what we can now do is just remove that double-sided adhesive, which is always easier said than done, isn't it? I think I'll grab my little pokey tool and just see if we can kind of get this lifted off a little bit. There we go. And then we're going to take a little bit of Sparklicious glitter, and I've chosen Twinkle Twinkle, which is like a holographic glitter. You can just rub that into the adhesive sheet and look at the dazzle. Look at the sparkle on that, isn't it amazing? It's such a lovely glitter, this one. So you can kind of push that into the double-sided adhesive sheet like so. And we want to get that all nicely kind of glittered in there. And then we'll just do a little bit on the top there too. And there we go, we've got that lovely blinged up Christmas tree now. Okay. So what we're now going to do is we're going to just start and build our card up. So we'll pop our trees to one side for now, and we'll come back to those in a minute. So I've got an 8x8 white card blank here, and I've got some silver mirror card, which I'm going to just stick down. I'm going to stick this flat onto my base card. So a bit of glue on the back. It looks like I'm putting a lot on, but because we've got that fine tip on there, you're really not popping that much glue on at all. So we're going to just pop that down. onto our card blank like so. Okay, so you can see that there. And then we've got a piece of white pearl card, and we're going to just edge round here using a chisel tip glue pen. And I do this quite often on a lot of my projects, so I just take a chisel tip glue pen and I take some glitter. I usually use Radiant or Crystallina. Just drag my glue pen along the edge and then dunk that in, and you can see the effect that that then gives. Okay, so that's that one there. And then we'll just drag it along. So all I'm doing is holding the pen at a slight angle and just dragging it towards me, and that's giving me that really nice frame around the piece of card. So you can just work around, dunking your card into the glitter there, sorry. And then we're going to again stick that flat onto our card blank. So a little bit of glue on the back. All over. And that's going to go down onto there, like so. Then we've got another piece of silver mirror card here that's just slightly smaller, and I've got some foam pads. So we're just going to pop these onto the back of here to kind of build this up a little bit. I do like quite a few foam pads on my project. I mean, we don't want the mats and layers falling off, do we? So we'll take the backs off these. Then this is going to go just down onto our card blank, like so. Then what I've done is I've taken one of our lovely stencil designs, and this is the snowfall one, and I've just pasted through that with the like the crystal white ultra sparkle paste. And then we're going to just put a bit of glue on the back of here. And this is just going to get stuck flat onto our card blank, like so. So we'll stick that down. Oh, I haven't quite cut my mats and layers perfectly square there. One border's a little bit more than the other, but never mind. So you can see how that's our card starting to build up there. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take our first large tray. So we'll take this one here. I'm going to pop a little bit of glue on the back, and we're going to stick that into place. So we'll pop this one down about there. Then the next one, we're going to pop some foam pads on. Just grab a couple of these. And that'll just go on the back. And that one's going to get stuck onto there. I'm going to make that a little bit higher up actually. Stuck there. Do you like this when you craft at home? Do you kind of change your mind halfway through? I know I do. So I'm going to pop that one there. Then the smaller tree, we're going to put on like a double layer of foam pads at the front. So we'll pop 2 foam pads down. Just stick that down like so. Then what I'm going to do is the little tree that we've got the die cut stars from, I'm going to pop some foam pads around the edge to give that a little bit of lift and a little bit of depth and dimension. So we'll pop this just onto here. Just a couple of foam pads just around the edge, just to kind of secure this onto our project. Like so. So just cut my foam pads down so they're quite thin, because obviously you don't really want them to show. And to be honest, for this kind of project, I prefer using foam pads because you kind of get the uniformity. Whereas with glue gel, it can look a little bit uneven sometimes. If that makes sense. So we'll just take the backs off of these like so. So we can just work around peeling the backs off. Just give that glitter on there. And that's then going to go onto there. So when we turn that round, you can see how you've got the glitter shining through there. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to start and decorate the trees up. I have got a little sentiment to add. So we've got May Your Christmas Sparkle with joy and happiness. So I'm going to pop that at an angle on the corner. We're going to add some little self-adhesive jewels onto the Christmas trees. So these are just the clear AB coated ones. And you can kind of just add these in, randomly dotting them about. These are just little self-adhesive jewels. I'm sure we've all got these in our stash at home. What looks really nice as well, actually, is if you take, I might grab mine in a second. If we just have a look at the finished sample here, can you see I've used different sizes of jewels on there? So of course you can do that as well. I've just grabbed some in to show you. So we can do some smaller jewels and some larger jewels, and it just kind of gives a little bit more depth and perspective to your project. So we can kind of just dot these in. I'm not being too careful, I'm being quite random here. And this is when I think you start to see your card coming together, when you start to add all of these jewels and start to add your embellishments onto them. Some smaller jewels on as well. A few on the smaller tree too. This does sometimes take a little bit of time, but I think it is kind of worthwhile just spending your time building your project up. And of course, if you wanted, you could add some like different coloured jewels onto these as well, if you wanted to too. So you can do these in lots and lots of different ways, or even just by changing up the colours. So say you wanted to do the trees in green. Lost that jewel there. If you wanted to do your trees in green, then you could do like coloured little jewels on them and things like that. So there's loads and loads of different ways that you can really build these up and take them to the next level, really. So we're just working around adding these in. And you really can put as many or as few on as you like. I kind of go to town a bit with my projects, but I'm going to be a little bit more restrained with this one, I think, and I will kind of pop a couple more on, I think, and then just leave it there for time. Okay, so you can see how that's starting to come together there now. Then what we're going to do is, if I just turn that round, I'm going to take my glue, I'm going to take my faux snow, which I've got in this pot here. And all we're going to do, this is really technical, okay, we're just going to scribble. So the trees, for all they look lovely, they look a bit weird at the moment because they're hovering, and we don't want hovering trees, we want grounded trees. So if you just scribble below with your glue, like so. And then we can take our faux snow and just throw that over the image. And then you can see how that then starts to come together. And what you can do with your faux snow as well is, obviously it's a chunkier glitter, so areas can miss. So then if you take your Crystallina, or your Radiant Glitter, I've got a little scoop in here and I can't pick it up. There we go. Take your Radiant or your Crystallina glitter, you can just chuck some of that over as well, and then what you'll find is where the faux snow hasn't clung, the glitter will, so it gives you like a mega bling effect. So what we're going to do to finish this project off is we're just going to add 2 little snowflake bling stones right to the top of the trees. So put one there, and put one there, and then of course you could finish it off with a bow. But that would then be your finished project. Okay, so you can see how well that works. Then this was the one that I did at home. So the only difference is I did the background in Luna paste on this one, and I've just added a bow to it. So if you like the look of that card, be sure to head over to chloescreativecards.co.uk, and that's where you'll find all of the products, and you'll also find loads more inspiration. And don't forget to subscribe too. Thanks, bye.